Wow, look at this. 6 viewers by the time the Greek disco music is over. Holy, this is this is I usually get here like halfway through the stream and halfway through a bottle of Uzo. And I'm already at 6. I'm starting out at such a high level. Welcome everybody. Welcome to the show. And so I was chatting with your man Rick earlier, and he was saying thanks for getting him into crypto. His money's nearly tripled in in the time that he's done it. It was something he intended to do, needed a little push. Apparently, I provided the motivation, but at the end of the day, bro, you made the decision, and it's your gains. They're you knew what the right thing was. You just did a little push, and congrats on your gains. This year is going to be a hell of a year. Zoo, haven't seen you around. I was actually thinking about you. I was thinking like, who do I want in the chat? Because I don't know if you saw the stream with OV a couple streams ago. When OV comes, all the feds come, and then all the stupid shit happens in the chat. Hey, HIV positive transgender. Yes, Bitcoin has crashed to a price not seen since yesterday. So we had it, but I let OV on just because some IRL subscribers I have that they don't know who OV is. I just say these names and words, and they're like, "What are you talking about?" So I get to show, like the cartoon Nazi, and but that was and that stream went, that's viral, or at least viral for a channel with 29 subscribers. You know what I mean? And by the way, listen, guys, smash up that like button, hit it, smash it, and make sure to leave a comment on any dumb thing that I say down below. So definitely got more, way more activity now that the bull market is really, really heating up. This crypto thing, I mentioned it. I'm back on my old channel. I threw up a video. I went to there's a place in Worcester, Mass. That's like a hot dog joint that I went to, and I had my Bitcoin T-shirt on, and I was showing it. This was like 2.5 years ago, and I remember, I'd be on these streams with Jonathan Pohl and with all these other people and whatever, and they're talking about we need to ideologically coalesce behind this and that and all this dumb shit. And I was like, there's an economic argument to be made, and it was kind of poo-pooed, and uh, I didn't really push back hard enough against that. But ultimately, the position I'm at now is that the economic argument is really the only argument, and that your ability to produce goods and services that have value, right, is what creates and maintains civilization. And if the currency we use is devalued, it's devaluing your labor or your creativity or your engineering skill or whatever it is you have, and that is unjust. And the only way to escape that is Bitcoin. You know what I mean? Maybe Ethereum. There might be a couple other cryptos which might be around for some length of time, but certainly Bitcoin. It is the OG. It is the original. It has come from nothing. It has withstood 1 million assaults. You know what I mean? Bitcoin died 1,000 deaths and has never died. And Bitcoin dances on the grave of everyone who pronounced it dead. So, and will continue to do that. And I look forward to that. I absolutely look forward to that. The Bitcoin that I had, by the way, Zoo, you don't know, I believe it or not, as you might find this a shock, but I got scammed. I got scammed out of my stack back in October, and I have a lot less now, or quite a bit less. But the Bitcoin I had 5.86 Bitcoin, which at the current price, it's like 56,000 and change. As of this show, would have been worth $332,262. And when I lost that, I told people, I came on a stream and I said, I was like beside myself. I said, I've lost millions of dollars. I said, I've lost millions. And people probably thought, oh, he's gone crazy or whatever. And at the time, the Bitcoin was only worth 67,000, right? 5.86 Bitcoin at 11,000 was worth 67,000. And I'm like screaming into the camera, I've lost millions. And I'm sure people looked at themselves and said, yeah, James is fucking off his rocker again. But now look at it, 4 months later, that $67,000 would be worth, if I still had it, which I don't, $332,000. And by the end of this year, it's going to be far, far higher. So, I've had a rebuild from being wiped out, and I can't believe that happened. Well, I can believe that it happened to me, and there were steps I should have taken to protect myself that I didn't, in terms of storing. I only had one cold storage device. I now have multiple cold storage devices, not having all my Bitcoin in one place, and making it a lot slower process for me to move it, from point A to point B. Because the issue was not that I got hacked, because hacking is bullshit. I got hacked. My brain got hacked. You know what I mean? And I ended up making a really poor choice, and you pay the price for that. But like I love to say, real life is the opposite of school. In school, first you learn the lesson, then you take the test. But real life, first you take the test, then you learn the lesson. It's very hard. It's easy to say. It's not so easy to live through. What do I think about No White Guilt? Any of those guys are okay. I don't mind his name and stuff. I've seen some of that guy's content. He's down south and stuff. I don't watch a whole lot of his content, but this whole nationalism thing, you have it all wrong. What people are incentivized by rewards. They're either incentivized to try and gain a reward, or they're incentivized to try and avoid a punishment. It's better and more civilized to incentivize a reward. For this behavior, you'll get this reward. That creates a much more civilized and better society than do this or I'll kill you, do this or I'll beat you, do this or I'll throw you in a pit, right? That's the way it's always been done in Asia and the Soviets and all that stuff. Their primary motivation really is do this or else. Whereas one could argue Western civilization, for all its flaws and all its warts, was do this and you'll receive this reward. And when people strive towards a reward, when they are incentivized to get something, that brings out whatever they have, their creativity, their endurance, their whatever, that brings out the best in them. And if the system is fair, if they get the reward that they are promised, things work really well. The system now is unfair because it is controlled by a hostile elite, and we have to fight that. Well, there's no way to ideologically fight this. They own everything in terms of the media and everything else. So the social media guerrilla war that we've been fighting for however long we've been fighting it, not going our way and people not listening to us for a number of reasons, but not the least of which is most normies, listen, they're not ideological at all. They're really not. And they're not going to risk what they have, whether they have a great deal or a modest amount or almost nothing, but they're not going to risk what they have for some crazy idea that's probably not going to work, and they're going to end up more hurt and more damaged afterwards. So they're not going to do that. So it isn't a conspiracy to keep your brilliant fucking whatever Hegelian concept of whatever the fuck you think it is. It's not that the normies are too stupid to understand it, but they have no experience doing this. The chance of you succeeding is really small, and the chance of them receiving a negative consequence for going along with you is very high. So you're not going to win. And the contempt that a lot of these so-called these internet revolutionaries had for normies was barely disguised. Barely disguised. So I'm getting so good at this. Well, I'll tell you what, let's do this. And for both, there's people in this channel that don't, they don't really know, they're not hip to everything, and they don't understand oftentimes our obsession with the small hats. And so we got a lot of good stuff here. We got some good stuff. Where is showing me what I want? Okay, it's at the bottom. Okay. In the chat, Sue and Tom Anderson. Tom Anderson just did that just to be perverted. Now my computer's running extra slow. I tested this before I went live, and everything was running smooth. And now I'm looking for the screen share. If it's coming, it's coming. It's still coming. It's still not here. Not here. Not here. Come on. Oh, that's so annoying. There we go. We all know that change is not going to happen, right? We just changed one set of small hats for another set of small hats. And people don't understand. Put out this, and this is, you have to understand, this is going to get so crazy. You're going to question like reality at every 5 minutes. The Biden administration is seeking to find all the people that Donald Trump deported and re-import the people who have been deported for breaking the law, to bring them back. It's that, that their deportation was somehow morally unjust. It was fair. It's by the law. It's exactly what was supposed to happen. But what are they gonna send out teams to Guatemala and Mexico and ask people, have you been deported? Oh, really? Okay, get back on this plane. We'll fly you back in. And what do you think is gonna happen? People who never were deported, who want to come to America, who don't want to pay the coyotes, right? They're going to go, yeah, I was deported. And they're going to jump on the plane. Then they're going to come back here. They're going to check their name against the list of people who was deported. This is how crazy it is. They're going to check the names of some of these people who were deported and find out they were never deported in the first place, that they lied. So they've committed a crime by pretending to be a deported illegal alien, and they're just an everyday illegal alien. So is that enough of a crime for them to stay, or do they have to be deported and re-imported? This is like the level of insanity is like off the charts. And they finally figured out the money grab for the pandemic. What they're going to do, they've said this, Biden administration is going to send hundreds of millions of billions around the world to make sure all the refugees, and everyone in God's green earth is a refugee right now. All the refugees coming into America will be vaccinated with COVID. Don't worry. Never mind that they're not going to get, they're going to get instant citizenship. As long as you take the vax, you're going to get instant citizenship, no matter where you're from. Okay. You're a refugee. You're not an economic migrant. That's where we're going. That's why Bitcoin is critical to your psychological health. I'm not kidding you. It's going to be so insane, and so many things are going to collapse, and the world is going to look like you're staring in a funhouse mirror. And to have something that's working for you, that preserves your wealth, your value, your labor, your time, as crazy as things get, you're going to like look and go, well, oh, thank God, at least Bitcoin is up. You know what I mean? At least I still got Bitcoin. And that's what I want people to have. I want them to have a sense of certainty, because you are going to lose all certainty. Yeah, Zoo in the chat. Do all presidents' children have to marry Jays? Well, yeah, really, because all the top people in America have all been Shabbos Goy, or they are married to them themselves. Yeah. This is this is a bit of an older meme, but it's one that is pretty brilliant. Where we comes up, I will add it to the stream. What do we got? Let me just click add to stream, see what happens. You guys got to remember, we're still working with the potato internet, because no one wants to send me any money or Bitcoin or anything. There's the chart. Okay, observe money printing from around the end of 2000. The red line is the Fed and the ECB, the European Central Bank, money printing, and the blue line is the price of Bitcoin. And you can see that the blue line, the price of Bitcoin, is following, sometimes passing, but then going back to the line of money printing. Okay, and then that the leg of that red line that just seems to be going straight up into the right-hand corner of that chart, that's the money printing in the last year. And Bitcoin is the blue line underneath it. We got some catching up to do. When people talk about, when these people on Twitter talk about that we're going to moon, we're going to go to $250,000, $300,000 per Bitcoin this year, or maybe higher, they're not crazy. Because if you look at this chart, again, the blue line is Bitcoin following the money printing, okay? The money printing has now gone off the chart. Bitcoin will catch up. It will catch up, and it will pass it, and this is going to make people even crazier. So, and that's Bitcoin, that's Ethereum. Like I said, that's anything in this bull market. So you need to keep that in mind. There will, however, be a reckoning, So if you're in alts, which I'm a Bitcoin maximalist, so I don't see a use case for most of that. But if you think you can trade and you think you can time the market, or you're doing, say, like Zoo is doing, like you're mining ETH and maybe you're selling it, great, But Mrs. Assad, what's going to happen to the Bitcoin accounts that have lost their passwords? Welcome to the show, Mrs. Assad. Yeah, that's going to be real interesting. So let's remove that. Let's go to my other. This was another. Once you've accumulated enough Bitcoin, say some people are saying like around $1,000 worth, you're probably for offline storage, right? And the way these work is that 24 words that you have to write down and memorize, because the 24 words activates the cold storage device, whether it's a Ledger, whether it's a Trezor, or any of the other cold storage devices. So they give you something to write it down, like a little card, like write down these 24 words, because this is your seed phrase. This activates the cold storage device. And so you have to write that down and don't lose it. You might want to copy it. And that becomes how you're going to recover your Bitcoin if you can't remember the password to your account or your PIN number for the cold storage device. So this is a great meme. I just saw right before the show came on. The past, wealth was 24 karat gold. The future, it's what you called your BIP 24 word phrase, seed phrase. So that's in hardware wallets and software wallets as well. So how much for cold storage? About 10K, about 10,000 USD. That's what guys like Nick Szabo and these other people are saying. So if you've got about $10,000, more or less, you should consider taking that money off an exchange and putting it in cold storage. I mean, you don't have to. It's not an iron-bound law. But once you get like into the 5 digits of Bitcoin, you should start thinking, hey, you know what? I want this. I want to be able to just take this anywhere. I want to hold this in my hand and run across the border or move to a different part of the country or whatever. Because all the people, when Tesla's buying Bitcoin, MicroStrategy buying Bitcoin, BlackRock has talked about buying Bitcoin. The first Bitcoin ETF in Canada was launched 2 or 3 days ago, and it's an exchange traded fund, and it got them $200 million in a day. And mind you, it's the Canadian stock market, so it's a much smaller stock market than the American one, but it's the highest dollar amount of money that has ever flowed into an ETF in Canada's history was the Canadian ETF, Bitcoin ETF. So the amount of interest out there is enormous, and the Canadian ETF, I don't know if you can buy it in America. I'm guessing you can. But that's one way to get exposure. Buying MicroStrategy, the Michael Saylor stock, that's another way to get exposure. And everyone else is getting involved in this, and they're trying to scare you. They're coming with the FUD. They're coming with the fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Every scare story you can imagine about Bitcoin, they're going to keep going until Bitcoin hits 100,000. And then they're going to tell you, oh, it's too expensive for you. No normal person can even bother with this. Forget Bitcoin, buy whatever shitcoin that they're pushing. And the thing about Bitcoin, you got to remember, again, for people who are newbies to this, you don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin. You can buy $10 worth or $50 or $100 worth or $869 worth. Or you could buy pieces of Bitcoin. At the time of this broadcast, $1 will buy you 1,700 Satoshis, right? There's 100 million Satoshis in a Bitcoin, and $1 will buy you 1,700. So $10 will buy you 17,000. $100 will buy you 170,000 Satoshis. And when Bitcoin goes up, all the little 100 million Satoshis go up with it. So, you have to you want to be part of the biggest and the best, and they're trying to divert you away from buying Bitcoin, because these corporations are going to buy it and they're going to keep it off. They're going to keep it for 5 years or longer, and the price is going to go up and stay up. It's not going to be like the previous cycles. It's going to be unlike the previous cycles. Come on. Don't look like. And it's important that you not listen to these. Too many people listen to experts that they, on TV because they're just on TV. And you could say, well, I don't believe, blah, 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 but it still gets in. And you have to consciously, this is where we're going, kids. This is what the future looks like. This is why I named this stream Across the Heavens, Sic Transit Gloria, right? The Latin phrase, Sic Transit Gloria, across the heavens. I'm not the world's biggest Latin phrase guy, but that's one that I always liked once I found out what it meant. And we're going to break through a lot of uncertainty, and then we're going to be in clear blue sky. And you want to be on this rocket. You want to be there. Okay. You don't want to be sitting around watching everyone else get rich while you don't get rich. There's nothing going to make you more miserable than that. You know, let's see. Zoo in the chat. Crypto's getting big. Yeah. You know what? And you're going to see stories. Be careful for stock market corrections. The stock market may collapse. You know, there may become a bear market. There are uncertainties in the market. Blah 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 blah. This is they're setting you up for a big market correction or collapse. The conventional markets are going to go away. Okay, if Bitcoin, this is ultimately Bitcoin. Let's stop sharing. Let's remove this one. This is a meme that's been around for a while, and one I want to show everybody. Where are we at? Okay, one you'll recognize. I'm going to recognize this very cool this picture. As soon as it comes up on my screen, I will add it to the screen. You bastard! It's still not there. Yeah, Bitcoin's going to eat gold first. That right now the market capitalization, that is to say, the dollar value of all the Bitcoin in existence is 9% of the world gold market. So one Bitcoin is equivalent to like 31 ounces of gold. Some people, yeah, HIV positive, transgender. That's, you know, there's so many cryptos. That's why you only buy Bitcoin. You stick with the king. You go with the most valuable one. It is the most valuable one because it is the most valuable one. It has the highest price tag for a reason. And like I said, you don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin or a half or even a tenth of a Bitcoin. You can just month after month buy $50 or $100 or whatever dollar amount. Why am I not getting this thing coming up here? Give me my picture, bro. Bruh, where's my picture, bruh? This is, Tom Anderson. Most cryptos are Pajit scams. That's true. Okay, I'm not getting, oh, that's making me angry. Oh, I'm so angry. Look at me being angry. I'm going to switch to a different picture. You know, all the stuff, I swear I tested it before the show, and it didn't want to work. I mean, it did work, but it didn't. Now it doesn't want to work. Now it's being mean to me. Or I just have really shit internet. You know, which we all know the truth, and it won't even still go. Oh, it's making me pissed off. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna send Dogecoin to the moon. Jonathan Pohl, welcome to the show. Send me a Bitcoin. Those days, you could get them for free. There was a website that used to give them away for free in like 2009. There was one that was selling them for 3 cents each in like 2011. Yeah, send me a Bitcoin. Not very likely. You're gonna have to kill somebody and hide the body in order for that to happen. You're gonna have to perform some very valuable service to. Oh, this is just completely jammed up now. Look at that, not going anywhere. Oh, how about what if I click for what is that? What are my choices? Can I just remove? Let's stop sharing. Tell you what, let's stop sharing. Maybe that's taking up just too many resources. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. The meme is everything divided by 21 million. Okay. There are 21 million Bitcoin. And the meme is everything in the world divided by 21 million. And the first thing Bitcoin is going to eat is gold. Okay. Gold has been the traditional store of value, blah, 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 you know, for 6,000 years, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, we all know that. But like I said at the beginning of the show, right now at 56,000 and change, 56.5 or whatever Bitcoin's currently sitting at, the market capitalization, the dollar value of Bitcoin is like 9% of all the gold on the planet Earth. And it's going to grow from here. It's going to eat gold first. and then it's going to eat everything else. It's going to eat bonds. It's going to eat the stock market. It's going to eat bonds. It's going to eat real estate. It's going to reprice the entire world. Everything divided by 21 million. Everything on the planet Earth divided by 21 million. Now, that might sound crazy, but I want to point out again that in October, when I got scammed out of my Bitcoin, and Bitcoin was 11,000, and I said, I lost millions. People said, you're fucking, look, he's off his mind. He's whack. He's drinking too much, blah, 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 whatever you were thinking. Now you look at the price of Bitcoin and, 56.5 times 5.86. And I sit here knowing that I could have $300,000 plus dollars, but I don't have it anymore because I fucked up. Because I got scammed. Because I let people into my head that never should have been in there, and they did a phony live stream, or rather They recorded a live stream with the Winklevoss twins, who are the guys who run the Gemini Exchange, the most honest guys in crypto, and they rebroadcasted this live. In the chat below, there was chat bots, and whatever. And I clicked the link in the show description, and the oldest, dumbest scam. Send us your crypto, we'll send you back double. And because up on the screen, up where I am, were the Winklevoss twins talking about the future of crypto, where's Bitcoin going to be in 10 years, and blah, 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 this, that, and the other. I'm listening to them. I'm reading this stuff, and whatever. Everybody knows how it goes. Everybody knows how it goes. What happened after that? So the biggest issue with getting robbed, I doubt anyone's coming to your house. People the paranoia you have is the hardware doesn't fail. Even the software, the software wallets you have on your phone don't fail. Nobody hacks it. That's nonsense. But there's a weakness. There's a way for them to trick you and to fuck with you. Anyone can be conned. And there's nothing you can do. Look who's here, the boomer of staying up late. You must have taken double Geritol tonight, Bob Paxson. Double the Geritol. Look at him up at almost midnight. Oh boy, the witching hour. What happens? What do boomers turn into after midnight? You know what I mean? Like Cinderella's chariot turned into a pumpkin with mice. It wasn't a beautiful carriage. It was just a pumpkin drawn by mice. So what happens to boomers? What do you turn into? Do you turn into like a 1967 Volkswagen Bug and wear a tie-dyed fucking T-shirt? What happens to you after midnight, Bob Paxson? But anyway, welcome to the show, Richard Spencer. Listen, Richard Spencer is a fat homosexual who lives off his family's money and has been completely, like, they tossed him aside for Nick Fuentes, and now they're going to toss Nick Fuentes in Baked Alaska, and now they're going to, do whatever they're going to do, HIV positive. My plan right now is to buy silver and gold. If you have extra money and you're willing to wait 4 or 5 years, you can get some returns. But crypto is going to outstrip them like nothing else. Like nothing else. Gold is down from where it was. It was almost 1,800 6 months ago, and now it's like 1,785. And Bitcoin 8 months ago was like $9,000. You guys, and this is the argument of Bitcoin. This is a Bitcoin argument, not crypto. Bitcoin only. This one only. Only this one. Okay? You're arguing against reality. The reality is the entire world is trying to get here. And you're making excuses for why you don't want to be here, right? And this is not real, or it's not backed by the government, or blah, 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 blah. Or what if they shut off the internet? The reality is the world is moving towards this. Big companies, obviously the flashy ones, Tesla, but there's a bunch of other ones in the background that are they're employing software bots to try and buy at the lowest possible prices and not drive the price through the roof too fast. And to argue with that is to argue with reality. And if you're arguing with reality, you're drunk, you're high, or you're clinically fucking insane. And If you want to argue with reality, you want to like go hang out with Claire Claw and all of her fucking Jen Sharp and that fucking crew of fucking whack jobs. And I like Claire. I mean, you got to admire her commitment to the Jews. You don't really have to admire it. It's demented. But she's whatever. She does what she does. You know what I mean? I guess she's provided enough entertainment, I suppose. But if you want to argue with reality, you're crazy, and no one cares. In the same way that you drive past a homeless crackhead at the intersection who's screaming about, whatever, that the CIA poisoned him with laser beams, and it's just because he woke up and he was staring at a neon light, in front of the liquor store because he passed out across the street from the liquor store. He drank until he passed out. You know what I mean? And the neon lights from the liquor store woke him up. But in his mind, it's CIA laser beams that are torturing him. No, it's the fact that he fucked up his whole life and he's a fucking total drunk. So argue with reality all you want, okay? Misinterpret what everyone else can see all you want, but you're going to be left behind. And as I said to Ian Manrick before the show started, my proselytizing, and I'm proselytizing like a lunatic in real life, is trying to get everyone into the lifeboat. I don't have the power to read the future, but I can see the past. I saw Weimar Germany, Zimbabwe, and Hungary. Also, the nation of Hungary also had hyperinflation. It's happened before. It's happening now. So I can see the past. I can tell what's happening currently, and that can make a reasonable man can make reasonable conclusions from those facts. That's what you have to do. That's what you have to do. And I don't know what influence I have. It's little or none at all. But what little influence I do have, I want to move people away from this. Listen, you don't get what you deserve in life. This whole idea of like, well, I'm going to be a moral person. And who knows, half these whack jobs probably want like these Adolf Hitler worshipers. They want like hyperinflation because they go like, oh, if we get hyperinflation, it'll be like Weimar. And then that means Hitler will come back and he'll save us. It's like, we're not worthy. So if we just suffer more, if we just suffer through hyperinflation, and my wife has to get pregnant, has to go out and prostitute herself and then get pregnant and still keep prostituting herself, I will have suffered sufficiently to be worthy of Adolf Hitler or whatever fucking lunatic shit is in your fucking head. Nobody cares about how crazy you are. Like, there is a digital lifeboat. There's a 21st century solution to this, right? Which one might argue the National Socialists, by changing the economics around that they had back in the 30s, they created the economic miracle. Well, this is the same thing, but this is the digital version, the decentralized version that is not subject to human weakness. The only human weakness is you in arguing against the reality of what's happening. Bob Paxton, Musk worshippers, Elon Musk worshippers are scary. But the cult of personality is real. And the cult of personality comes from the cult, not so much from the personality. Do you know what I mean? At some point, Elon Musk goes, holy crap, I'm Elon Musk, or what? Like, even movie stars do this. You know what I mean? One day, like a handsome kid who wants to be an actor wakes up and goes, holy shit, I'm Brad Pitt. Like, he realizes, like, fuck, I'm Brad Pitt. You know what I mean? The clunking sound I hear when I walk into a room is women passing out as I walk by. And he's like, I am Brad fucking Pitt, or whatever. I guess Brad Pitt's, he's old school, but Ryan Gosling or whoever the next, whatever. You know what I mean? Who was Cary Grant, who was before him, who was back to Rudolph Valentino, right? At some point, and all these guys get it wrong. They think, oh, I have some magical quality. No, you don't. It's the crowd that is reacting to what they think they see. In the same way that people they think they see what's going on with Bitcoin, and they go, oh, it's the mark of the beast. It's this and that. It's blah, 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 blah. It's none of those things. It's none of those things. But you get it all wrong. And you imagine that's important for people to know. That is infuriating me that I cannot close this tab. That is absolutely infuriating me. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do that. So, yeah, but then everyone has fanboys. Bob Paxton, do you own a Glock? You're a Glock fanboy. Oh, Glock's the best pistol. Oh, my God, Glock is perfection. It says so on the box. And as soon as you buy a Glock, you change the sights. And then, you know what? You get stippling done because the grip is not good. And then, you know what? You got to drop in a Geisley trigger because, the stock trigger is a little bit stagey. You know what I mean? And then I got to get slide cuts in the barrel, to get the barrel ported so to keep the muzzle down. And this is, people do this with anything, with consumer items or with living heroes. You know what I mean? That's the cult of personality. Like I said, is in the cult. It's not so much that personality. Stalin was not Stalin. All of these people were not who they think they are. The Donald Trump phenomenon was the same. Everybody thought Trump was this. The cult of personality around Trump was huge. And it all turned out to be nothing. So, Paxton, you hate yours. You hate your Glock? Good. They're not bad. They're fine for what they are, but they are overrated. Tom Anderson, Elon Musk got rich by scamming the government. Yeah, but everyone does that. I've pointed out that stealing from the Treasury, that's where all the money is. You know what I mean? There was a famous black bank robber back in, I think it was like the 1930s, a guy named Willie Sutton. He robbed, I don't know how many banks in New York City. And then when they finally caught him, the newspapers back then, the newspaper guys would go, the police would tell them when the arrest was to bring this guy into the station house or whatever. And all the newspaper reporters went out there and they went, "Hey, Willie Sutton, why do you rob banks?" And he goes, "Because that's where the money is." But that's why do people get government contracts? And they're all, listen, Oracle Software, Larry Ellison, another member of the tribe, by the way, he got a contract from CIA for database stuff back in the early 90s, and that made it the hottest stock. And Oracle stock was one of those 90s tech super stocks. You know what I mean? CIA, a Jewish guy, tech, whatever, big money. Like, who could figure that? Go figure. But all of this, Facebook started out as there was the DARPA, or was it DARPA? Yeah, Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. They were having trouble with loyalty and morale, and they came up, because everybody's sitting at the computer all day, and they're like, well, what can we do to improve your experience? And they made a computer bulletin board where people could share pictures and what they had for lunch or whatever, and they called it LifeLog. The project ran and they improved it and tweaked it and on and on. And on the day they shut down LifeLog is the day Mark Zuckerberg came up with Facebook. And Facebook is exactly the same as LifeLog was. They're all like that. Look at Amazon, right? Jeff Bezos, now he does cloud services for, I don't know, it was the State Department or CIA or NSA or whatever, who got what, whatever. They're all hooked in with the government because their products are not that good. Most people, once they get software that works, they just want to stay with it. They don't want to upgrade. The upgrade is usually not that good. It's even though they've released it, it's still technically a beta. It crashes. It needs patches. It needs all kinds of shit. And people have to learn new keystrokes and whatever, to do this software. Like I've been using, Windows 3.1. I'm so old. I remember Windows 3.1. That shit was fast. You know what I mean? If you had a 486 computer, like a Pentium 1, like a Pentium computer with Windows 3.1, it flew, But no, you got to get rid of that. You got to get Windows 95, and Windows 95 was complete crap, as was 98 and all the rest of them, and as the one I'm using now. People don't want to upgrade. I got this one. It works. Most people prefer tradition, what has worked, even if the tradition is 18 months old. You know what I mean? They prefer what works, that's certain, because people want a sense of certainty, especially if they have a job to accomplish. They want a sense of certainty rather than something that's new and not certain. That favors bold people who are early adopters, can score big. You know what I mean? First mover advantage kind of thing. But you can also make a lot of mistakes. And the Bitcoin has passed all these hurdles, right? It's passed a lot of hurdles, and you're still early with Bitcoin, believe it or not. People don't believe it. They go 56,000 for one Bitcoin. You're still early. You're still early. I swear to you, you're still early. Go into this as deeply as you can, as much as you can, dollar cost average or whatever you have to do, and stay with it. The corporations, right? Corporations are artificial people, right? People, the leftists, the Antifa people always go, corporations aren't people. Well, as far as the law is concerned, they are artificial persons, okay? And the corporations are buying Bitcoin. Does Elon Musk own it himself? Yeah, probably he does. But the news, he's not going to advertise how much he owns. But the news is Tesla, his baby, the thing that his stamp. Tesla is Elon Musk. Tesla bought Bitcoin because Elon Musk knows he's going to die. He doesn't think so, but he knows he's going to die. And he wants his corporation, his legacy to live on forever. Just like Donald Trump, he wants all those buildings with Trump written on the side. Trump's going to die, right? Not, and all you, what is the I hate to go to fucking 80s rock lyrics, but let's go boomer. Let's go full on fucking boomer. Let's embrace our inner boomer, right? The rock band Kansas, you know what I mean? With their song "Dust in the Wind," which was in the Bill and Ted movie and whatever, it was played on boomer radio all over the place. You know, there's the line from, I don't know where it's from, but all your money will not 1 minute buy. Right? All of your money will not buy one more minute of lifetime. Right? And you could say, well, Rockefeller got 7 heart transplants. Yeah, but eventually died. He did everything he could, and when it all ran out, bye-bye. So they all know this is coming. And their ego, they think, oh, I need something to live on into the future. I want to live on to the future, even symbolically. And my corporation is going to do that. The Trump brand will live forever on the planet Earth, right? That's what Trump thinks. It ain't going to help him when he's turning into worm food. But their vanity, right? They think, well, their ego can't accept death. I can't accept death. No, not me. I'm special. I built $1 billion empire. I built electric cars. I send rockets to the moon. I can't die like some fucking hood rat or some poor person in a fucking in a trailer park. No, I'm Elon Musk. I'm Donald Trump. I'm fill in the blank, right? So and they will do things which they believe will carry on their legacy forever. Mostly it won't. You know what I mean? Mostly it really won't, but they believe it will. And one of the things that they're doing, these corporations, is going into Bitcoin because they want the corporation to continue into the future. The corporation is them. I created this thing. This is the thing I gave birth to, and it will continue forever. Okay? And the US dollar is going, and I don't want that to happen. So I need the value that my corporation has created. I need to put that into Bitcoin. So all these companies buying Bitcoin, and if you follow on Bitcoin Twitter, there was some entity today that took $713 million off of Coinbase. That's almost $750 million, right? Taken off Coinbase. It was they showed a picture of a whale like it was an individual, but I doubt too many individuals are doing that. All right. That's likely a corporation, and they're going to store this stuff for years and years. They're not going to sell it because their money doubled or tripled. They're going to hang on to it for years. And then you want to talk about corporate battles, the battle to be in the corporation that controls the most Bitcoin. Oh, that's going to be a fucking battle. Yeah, living through AI. What's that guy, a Jewish guy, that talks about the melding of humans and machines? Or some retard. They made a movie about him. He something of a tech. He's not really a tech genius, but whatever. So in the chat, what do we got? Windows is still garbage. Of course, it's garbage, but it's what everybody uses. It's what everybody uses. PayPal got sold. Yeah. So gold is tradition. Yeah. Well, you know what? There's tons of traditions. Windows was garbage. I remember when BTC was 4K. Yeah, I remember. You know what? What's his name? What he used to call himself, Maroon 5. Astrofash mentioned it. I had been in it, and I got out of. I got in it like 1800 in the 2017 cycle, past the peak and get out of 14 and change. But I paid off a car loan. I got a tooth implant. I did a bunch of stuff, and I still had some left over. And then when Astrofash said, "Hey, there's a movement in Bitcoin," it was around 4K. I was like, I wasn't focusing on it, and I didn't like. It's like I don't know. I should, and I started getting back into 5K and topped out at about 11, and then hodled for a while, and then ended up getting scammed. So, yeah, Mac is superior to Windows, but Apple is another one that's giving it up to the government. Yeah, people listen. There's a lot of people that mocked Bitcoin. They didn't understand it. They don't want to understand it, and that's fine. I think that people value their time and efforts. And if there's an alternative to the U.S. Federal Reserve, just pissing all over your time and effort, literally steal time. If there's a way to get out of that, why wouldn't you be interested in it? Why? And that's why I want people, and the smart guys, the corporates are all over this. They don't usually do stuff like this, just for fun. They have their own. If you look at corporate behavior, where with the Fed, loaning money at zero interest, so corporations borrow money at zero interest, buy back their own stock in order to drive up the stock price, right? So then, because they have stock options, you know what I mean? So they take zero interest dollars to drive up the stock price of the stock of the company they work at, and then they exercise those options. And everybody does that over and over again. It artificially pumps the stock market through the roof, not the least. And the Fed, of course, does more of this, and the politicians love it because fucking Gmail is not working. Wait a minute, there it is, and I just shut it off. God damn it! All right, one more time. The politicians love it because the whole economic prosperity is the stock market, and that's bullshit. And that shows, one, how little an understanding these people have of what the economy is, and how their own interest is not beyond their own nose. You know what I mean? Politician is just looking to go from city councilman to state senator to federal congressman to federal senator or governor, and then we're all looking to get to the White House. Depending on how much baggage they have, how many 9-year-old boys they fucked in the ass, how much coke they've snorted, how many dirty files, how many bags of fucking money are in their pockets at any given moment, and how well they can hide that, and how well they can shine the shoes of a certain Middle Eastern country, that determines how high they can rise up, and eventually, they all come to their ultimate whatever level. But this is how the game is, right? Okay, come on, Gmail, do what you do. We used to be such a SOB. Only like 11:30. Everybody's asleep tonight. It's Sunday. We're just trying to do an extreme right-wing, white supremacist live stream. Can we not do that? Can we not use crypto to fund our revolutionary activities? And to be honest, I remember seeing articles, where the left was going, white nationalists are going to use Bitcoin to fund their activities. And I'm like, they're scared of this. And they telegraphed their fear. But and I saw that, and it stuck in my head, and nobody seemed to want to listen to me. But Yeah, Tom Anderson, Gemini, the exchange in New York is run by committed libertarians, and the Winklevoss twins are involved. No, they are. The Winklevoss twins are the Gemini exchange. You know, that's the best place to buy crypto. You're going to get the best rates and the fairest prices. Coinbase has held onto people's money. They've shut down people's accounts because they have the wrong political opinions. Yeah, Tom Anderson is right. Coinbase is run by leftists who will hang on to your money, and then you have to sue to get it back. And it's you know, if you don't have extra cash laying around to hire lawyers to sue Coinbase, you're going to have a big problem. Judas Flychai, shalom. Well, shalom, Judas Flychai. I haven't seen you in the chat in a while. No, I was not scammed via phishing. Well, I guess it was sort of phishing. Tom Anderson, did I not just explain this 10 minutes ago? I know drunks have a tendency to repeat themselves, but I'm feeling like I'm repeating myself. The address I sent to the Bitcoin to was in Russia. It was a Russian thing. That on screen in the video, like where you see me, was the Winklevoss twins being interviewed. It had happened a week earlier. Someone had recorded it. They rebroadcast it as a live stream, even though it already ended 4 days earlier. Google didn't catch this. YouTube didn't catch this. Right? In the chat was not, 8 people. In the chat were hundreds of people, right? It looked live stream. The Winklevoss twins are rock stars in terms of Bitcoin. So yeah, you'd have 125 people in the chat, and it looked real, even though I didn't recognize the channel name and a bunch of other things. It was a rainy day. I remember my eyes were bothering me. I didn't have my fucking glasses yet. Whatever. My list of excuses. But I sought unsavory gain, and I ended up paying a lot of money for that. Yeah, maybe went to Nigeria, maybe went to Russia. I posted the things. The website that hosted the phony Gemini fund was our website. So I don't know if I went to Nigeria, but listen, the Nigerians are smarter than everyone else. The senators in Nigeria are saying F the Nigerian government. If they don't want us to use Bitcoin, we're going to use it anyway. And although you're going to pay a premium to do that, you bad Gmail. I played the audio last stream of a Wall Street guy going, "Oh, they're going to regulate it. How can I stop Bitcoin? We're going to regulate it." The more you try and regulate it, the worse it's going to get for you. It's just going to drive the price higher. And here's another thing. This reminded me. Part of Trump's economic plan, I don't know if I ever mentioned this, part of Trump's economic plan to revitalize America, a lot of American corporations, these same corporations that are buying Bitcoin, have hundreds of billions, maybe trillions of dollars hidden, or technically hidden overseas, because they made their European division, their Asian division, or whatever, the South American division of fill in the blank, Coca-Cola, General Motors, General Electric, Boeing, whatever. They made money in these foreign countries selling airplanes or Coca-Cola or washing machines or power plants or whatever the fuck they did, right? But they never reported it to the IRS because the power plant was built in Colombia, so it's not, the money wasn't made in America, so we don't have to pay the American IRS. This is a bit of a corporate trick that's been going on for a while. Now, a lot of people have known this, and Trump, way back when he was a candidate, said, we're going to lower the tax rates. This was part of his tax cut pitch. We're going to lower the tax rate on capital so that Apple and all these other big companies bring the money back into America and revitalize the American economy, create jobs, open factories, blah, 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 blah. It's not a terrible idea. It was not Trump's original idea. Other people had said it before him, but he picked it up. It was a good idea. He recognizes a good idea. He just doesn't follow through with it. But that was his thought. Now, part of what's going to drive Bitcoin skyrocketing is all that money is still sitting out there. And these corporations have, again, it's hundreds of billions, a couple of trillion, maybe 2, maybe 7 trillion. It's unknown how much money they have outside the United States, hidden in bank accounts that they don't tell the IRS about because the money was made outside the United States. Well, what are they going to do with that money as the US dollar shrinks? It goes down in value 5, 7, 8, 10, 12% a year. What are they going to do with that money? That money is going to flow into Bitcoin because Bitcoin is stable at least and going up. It's actually going up. So there's all sorts of hidden money that you don't know exists. Like you don't know exists, but trust me, I've been around a couple of rich guys, relatively rich dudes in the taxi business. They had a couple of million. They were hiding money in every way you could hide money. There's more hidden money out there than you are aware of. And once those people realize they can buy Bitcoin, and they're not going to buy now. They're going to buy in at 100, 200,000, 3, 4, 500,000. They're going to buy in at $750,000 Bitcoin. They will, because they have millions stashed away. I worked for guys in the taxi business that the owners would report like $75,000 of profit when they were making $8 million a year. I'm not kidding you. But it was a cash business and they could hide it in a bunch of different ways. You know what I mean? They'd be making $5,000 on the day shift every fucking day. And then $2,500 to $3,000 on the night shift every fucking night, 24/7, 365 in New York City. And all that, and they would fucking report losses if they could. You have no, and this is, New York does this, Chicago does this, Philly does this. Tons of people have done this. They're hiding money all over the place. And once those people, and mind you, they are Joey Bag of Donuts types. They are, not, but not all of them. But the guys I interacted with at any rate were. And once they realize that they can, well, hey, Minky, what the fuck? What's this Bitcoin thing? Hey, Tony. They're gonna get into it one way or another, but they're gonna get in late. You know what I mean? But they're gonna buy the amount that they can buy in is gonna be ridiculous. And like I said, these big corporations have been hiding technically money overseas for decades, and they don't want to see their corporate power, their corporate position reduced, going to nothing. And all of these board of directors guys, one guy sits in this board, he's a board of director here, he's the CFO there, he's the CEO of this one. It's a super incestuous elite circle. And they all know what they're going to do. That's why Bitcoin is going to moon so fucking insanely high, because there's money you don't know fucking exists that's going to move into this. And it's not going to be moved into crypto in general. It's going to be moved into Bitcoin. Gmail, you suck so bad. Oh, wait. Oh, look. Oh, what did I want to show? Oh, here we go. This one. Show me this one. Please show me the picture. You fucking rat fuck. You fucking piece of shit. You come on. It's not even showing me the screen. I had my old stack of Bitcoin and I had 300 grand in the bank. I would not be spending it on this shit. Not be spending it on this shit. Okay, listen. What I have to do? I have to confess that I have sold out because nobody wants to send me any Bitcoin, right? Because nobody wants to support the channel in any way financially. I've had to take on corporate sponsorship, right? And so I would like, I'm seeing the internet symbol go to shit. Fuck, this better work. Okay, so I want everyone to welcome our new sponsor, Retard Juice. That's right. Welcome to our new sponsor to the Exempt Human Specimen live stream. This is 100% pure Retard Juice. And This is harvested in the traditional way that you harvest retard juice. We collect all of the retards in a parking lot, and we have a plastic bucket, and we make them stare into a plastic bucket. And then when they stare into a plastic bucket, we hit them in the head with a hammer. So we crack their skulls open, and the pure retard juice flows from their broken skulls into the plastic bucket. And then we package it up, and we send it to you. So next time you're at the grocery store or convenience store, make sure to go up and ask the manager for 100% retard juice. Oh, man. Oh, this is great. I feel dumber already. Go and ask ask for it by name, and welcome again to our corporate sponsor, Retard Juice. So with that, and I can't believe I got that out, and this fucking Gmail won't work. But I got to do what I got to do. I got to keep the lights on. You know what I mean? We got to keep the lights on. There's a show to run. I have to buy pens, for the show, and crappy notebooks. When I'm thinking of shit to talk about on the show, I'm not driving boxes. So it costs money. All this stuff costs money. You have to be a realist about the economic, realities of life. So. Bob Paxton, any Iranian retard juice? No, I believe the Iranian fruit juice market is locked up by the Pole Position YouTube channel. I've never been outside the United States, so I do not have the international contacts that some others have. Many people have a varied experience around the world. I have varied experience within, like the New York tri-state area. So, anyway, what are we doing? We're at an hour and 11 minutes. I had a bunch of other cool pictures to show you, but fucking, what's his name? Gmail doesn't want to work for me. Every time I try and load up these photos, it doesn't want to work. And usually getting it from Gmail works best, but I don't know. Maybe I should put them on a hard drive of this computer. I don't know. Anyway, all right, let me look through the chat, try and squeeze some more entertainment out of this. What do we got? Okay. I appreciate any person who saves anything. Bob Paxton, I appreciate anyone who saves anything other than Fed notes. Yeah, Beatle albums don't count, you fucking boomer. No one really gives a shit about Abbey Road. What do we got? That is some, yes, that of course. Come on, Zoo in the chat is like 30 minutes ago. That's some legit ouzo. I drink this stuff. The problem is that when it starts tasting like Kool-Aid to me, that's when I'm going to get in trouble. What do we got? Yeah, so here's the thing. If you do not like elite power, that you feel that there's a hostile international cosmopolitan elite. I don't know. Here we go. Oh, this is. I got over focused on one thing and I lost focus on another thing. There's a guy named. I did this last week successfully. Douglas Rushkoff. He wrote a book called, and I grabbed this video off of Twitter. I'm going to play the audio of the video. It's 35 seconds, and it's very, very revealing. The guy's name is Douglas Rushkoff. He wrote a book called Nothing Sacred, The Truth About Judaism. Okay. So he's being interviewed in Israel. Maybe I could even show the video and show him doing it. But I want you to listen to this audio. Again, it's 35 seconds, and it is exceptionally revealing.
The thing that makes Judaism dangerous to everybody, to every race, to every nation, to every idea, is that we smash things that aren't true. We don't believe in the boundaries of nation state. We don't believe in the ideas of these individual gods that protect individual groups of people. These are all artificial constructions, and Judaism really teaches us how to see that. In a sense, our detractors have us right, in that we are a corrosive force. We're breaking down the false gods of all nations and all people because they're not real. And that's very upsetting to people.
So that's video. I saw that a couple of years ago, right? And the guy who posted this kid Nico, who's a top follow on Twitter, but he has tons of clips. That's one of them. There's a few others I'm waiting for that I want to grab. But yeah, the thing about with specificity, that Abrahamic religion, that is their mindset. Well, last week's stream I said the Roman Empire was destroyed by the debasement of its currency. You know what I mean? And by a certain people. And that those same people are doing that today. This guy, who is, in my opinion, a member of that same group, is today repeating what I said. When they say it, we're issuing a profound insight into our wondrous, worldview. When I say it, I'm an extreme right-wing lunatic. Well, it depends on who says it, right? So, but this is their worldview. Get in, get as much as you can. Take as much as you can before it falls apart, and get the hell out before it all collapses. There is a mental illness in that worldview that is not correctable. And then when these people control what you say, how we interact with each other, how we trade with each other, how we exchange with each other via money, and control our laws, we have massive, massive problems. And normies, they hear stuff like that, and then they start making excuses for these people. And you have to stop arguing with reality. You just heard from this guy's own mouth. He says, our detractors, which is people like us, have us right. We are a corrosive force. We don't respect the boundaries of nation states. If they don't respect your nation, they're not going to respect the laws of your nation, the traditions of your nation, not going to respect your family, not going to respect anything. We smash it. Because it's not true, because they are the arbiters of what is true and what is not true. They are the possessors of all truth that ever was and ever will be. These are the people you're dealing with. This is the reason why a system of value, of exchange, that they do not control and they cannot stop. This is why this is critical to human civilization, whether you see that or you don't see that. And you could say, oh, you're like being a crazy proselytizer and you're a true believer. And I'm saying right now, and I've been around all of these extremist shit. I've listened to every one of these retard fucking streams. I've drank, I tried the retard juice. I really have. You know what I mean? I'm not addicted to it. I prefer the milk of lions. But you guys got nothing. You got fucking nothing. And by the way, there are two members of the United States Senate that are Bitcoiners. I think one's a woman from Wyoming and the other one's somewhere else. So when I say we, I mean Bitcoiners. We have two people in the Senate. Oh, wait a minute, wrong way. Oh, come on. It's so tough doing this backwards on the camera. Bitcoiners got two people in the Senate. You got zero. You got zero. A permissionless system of value that is decentralized with no central hostile elite control is the best possible outcome for human civilization, for Western civilization, which is the only civilization that there can be. And so my position is I would like as many people as I can, the widest possible. I want to cast my net as wide as I possibly can to get as many people as I can, as deep into this as I can. So the corporations and those scumbags don't get there first. They're stiff-necked, arrogant fucks, and they don't want to do it. They don't want anything to do with anything that they cannot control. And the faster you can act, and you are small, that is true. You are small and weak, but you have the ability to act quickly and autocratically. You don't need anyone's permission. So this is why you need to do this as much as you can. Don't hurt yourself. Again, don't skip a rent payment or anything crazy like that. But go into this as much as you can, specifically Bitcoin and only Bitcoin. I'm a Bitcoin maximalist. This is the only thing that's going to be around when I'm, 20 years from now, because it was around. It was the OG. It was the beginning. It will be the end. Many of these other things will come and go. They'll rise and fall, and you might make money off it. You might make a lot of money off it. You might make life-changing money off it. But understand, you're playing with fire. If you want a certain future, it's going to be Bitcoin. Okay, it's not going to be Cardano or Monero or these other things, as interesting as they may be, faster, whatever, privacy oriented. Yes, those are not sufficient arguments to me. My argument is Bitcoin is the one and only, the original, and all the rest are imitators. I would prefer the sun source of all of it. And I'm trying to think of the last time I bought like 2-3 weeks ago. You know what I mean? And you go, oh, it's too high. It's not. It's never too high. Your time, your life, your skill set, the value you place on that is never too high. To store your time, your energy, your life in Bitcoin is a far wiser move than storing it in the United States dollar. Now, if you can get commercial real estate, if you can get gold, if you can get, whatever, great, fine. But buying a piece of commercial real estate, a warehouse, or a diesel fucking gas station, where all the trucks stop at the middle of the interstate, that costs a lot of money, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of dollars. Most people don't have that. But you have $50 or $75 or $100 or $200 a month or whatever you have extra that you can begin to move out of a decaying dollar and into a rising Bitcoin. That is my argument. And that's a great fucking argument. It's a great argument. And that's what I try to make to people. And so that people have difficulty seeing this. It's a challenge to my ability to communicate with them. And I'm talking about IRL, and I'm meeting people. I was a guy, one of the guys I worked with, a Spanish guy, I've mentioned this before. There's a Spanish guy I know. I'm not kidding you. I'm not making this up. Who believes that aliens crash landed at the South Pole a long time ago, when the South Pole looked like Florida, like it was tropical. This is what he believes. And that somebody in the 1700s had a map of the South Pole that looked like Florida, and they hid it somewhere. I'm not kidding you about that. You think you're gonna go like, James, you're fucking talking crazy shit. This is what this guy believes. There's videos on YouTube about this. And Adolf Hitler somehow found out about this, and he sent an archaeology team to the South Pole, and they discovered, digging underneath the ice, I don't know why they did this, they found this alien technology, which they used, that made them crazy and so powerful that they tried to take over the world. This is the only person that I am certain I have convinced to buy Bitcoin. Now, I think there's a few other people that are more reality based than this guy that I have persuaded. I believe I've been persuasive. to a couple of members of actually this channel. Obviously, you're a man, Rick, and there's a few others, but to try to explain this to normies, like, is tough. The people who are going to get this sometimes are like really oddball people. And every time I see this guy, he just waits for me to say Bitcoin. I saw him today a couple times. And he's looking at me and he's all expecting and he's waiting for me to tell him about Bitcoin. Like he just wants to hear the words Bitcoin, even though he's checking the price himself and he bought, I don't know when he bought, but he's like way up and he's telling all his Spanish friends, you got to buy Bitcoin. And he's telling his Spanish family, you got to buy Bitcoin. And hopefully they're listening to him because they see he's done it and it's working out for him. And now I'm not particularly in love with Spanish people, but the point is my determined, I don't want to Fed post too much. I don't want to Fed post. My determined intention to unseat the elites is extreme. And I want everyone, and I mean like everyone, to do this. Because the more we do this, the more we unseat the elites. The more we reduce their grip on us. The more we take their hand off our fucking throat. That's what I want to do. That's why I'm like evangelical. That's why I'm like all sorts of proselytizing. You know what I mean? And I'm not proselytizing because it's a religious thing, although you may view it through a religious lens. I view it through a different lens, a much more secular lens. You know what I mean? But I want this done, and I don't care who does it. I've said this in the previous stream. I don't care what your ideology is. I don't care what your skin color is. I don't care. The elites that control us or that control the governments that we live under are evil by definition, right? They have no empathy, no feeling for other human beings at all, not even their own kind. I mean, they have a few rules. They won't kill their own, but they have no empathy for even their own. And I want them unseated. Okay? And a decentralized approach towards exchange and value is the most powerful approach there could possibly be. In the same way, I used to fuck with all the Hitler worshippers. Oh, I'm a democracy respecter. But it's true that democracy, when the Athenians came up with democracy, they became the most powerful city-state in all of Greece. And that concept, for all you shit on it, is the concept that runs the world. Now you say, well, it doesn't really run it because it's not really democracy and it can be subverted. Yeah. I heard all those fucking arguments. But the idea, to this day, thousands of years later, is still used. Why? Because a decentralized approach to problem solving and a decentralized approach to priorities produces better results for everybody. And so I look at it as a decentralized approach to an exchange of value, okay, will produce changes that the world cannot imagine yet. And we're on the cusp of that. Everyone who understands Bitcoin understands that. I was trying to show a Bitcoin meme where like it's the Trojan horse meme. There's all the guys with the spears and the shields inside the horse like this. And the guys in front of the gate going, hey, check out this horse. And the other people are like, yeah, bring it in. And it was like the horse was Bitcoin, and then it was Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy. And, the meme was Bitcoin and the US dollar can coexist peacefully. No, we can't. We're coming to fucking destroy you. I'm not kidding. We're coming to destroy you. I'm not the only kook who thinks this. There's a lot of people who think this. And we're not joking. We want to destroy the Federal Reserve. Peacefully, it's going to be peaceful. We're not going to fire a shot. We're not crazy bombers. We're not suicide people. We're not going to get in a truck full of fucking nitrates and fuel oil. No, we're not going to do it that way. We're gonna destroy you peacefully, legally. We're gonna fucking destroy the Federal Reserve. Like I said last week, This is our fucking meme. You know what I mean? Get in, pussy. We're going to destroy the U.S. Federal Reserve. That should be your mindset. We are the fucking gangster of fucking gangsters, like they have not been seen on this earth in a very long time. We are going to dethrone this corrupt elite. Or die trying. All right. Let's scroll through the chat and see what kind of smarmy remarks we have in the chat. BTC is so abstract. What's the value in computers working? None. None, Bob Paxson. That's why you're here in the middle of the night on a computer talking to another guy on a computer using a handheld computer, sending out radio waves, to other computers so you can watch this dumb show. What is the value? What could possibly be the value? Let's see. 75% of all American dollars in existence came into existence after Bitcoin was introduced. Correct, Tom Anderson. That's a staggering reality. That's why I showed that chart earlier in the stream. Both the U.S. Federal Reserve and the ECB have printed like crazy, and Bitcoin has followed that that chart from where am I? Blah, blah, blah. From lower left to upper right. It has lagged behind. It has raced ahead, but it mostly follows that. And in the last year, 22% of all dollars in existence were printed, and the chart went like this for the USD, and Bitcoin's lagging behind. And when Bitcoin catches up, people's brains are going to melt inside their heads. Tom Anderson, $1 billion is a lot for a loaf of bread. Yeah, not impossible though. That's people. There's too often people think, well, because I haven't experienced it or I haven't seen it, it's not going to happen, right? Their judgment of reality, what's possible and what's impossible, is based on their experience, and they are profoundly mistaken. Now, I know this is a big comfort to them, and it's how they comfort themselves and how they fit into the world, but it's not true. Just because you haven't seen it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And just because you haven't seen it doesn't mean it's always going to exist, right? HIV positive in the chat. I know the US dollar is going to collapse. I've known for a good while, but I want to be sure crypto isn't a psyop. Well, there has to be an alternative, right? In all previous times, there was gold and silver, okay? But the thing about gold and silver, as I pointed out in the last stream, is that they can reduce the amount of silver in the coins. Gold, they can gold plate lead and stuff, and there's various different tricks they can use. And what this does during the Dark Ages, which was, once the world adopted Christianity, but trade shrank like to a fifth of what it was during the Roman Empire. Like the economy shrank by 80%. And part of the reason why is because there was no trust. There was no trust, and you couldn't be certain that you were exchanging value, right? I have a ship full of, I don't know, fucking cedar wood from Lebanon. You know what I mean? And I'm sailing to Egypt next, and I could use the Egyptians want olive oil, but I don't have no olive oil. I'm in Italy. How can I trade this cedar wood for olive oil so I can go to Egypt and sell the olive oil for whatever, something else? What I need, bronze or copper or whatever. Like money is the fungible thing between these things. Okay. But if you cannot trust the money, if you're not sure that gold coin is really gold, if you're not sure that silver coin is really silver, it slows down the transactions. Back then with the time and seasons and fucking weather and tides and all this shit. But today it slows, the speed of our economy is super fast, right? If you can't trust the money, this is a problem. Everywhere you go when you pay cash, and I remember seeing this in the supermarket a couple, not that long ago, they use that marker, the counterfeit marker on $10 bills, and they run it through the machine. There's like a little reader. They stick the bill in the machine and goes, it sucks it up and back and checks to make sure it has the magnetic stripe and this and that. For fucking $10 bills. For $10 bills? When I was a kid, the only things that was when I was a kid, the only money that was counterfeit was hundreds and fifties because it was too expensive to counterfeit anything else. You know what I mean? There were people that used to take, and part of what they used to do, they would take $1 bills because the paper was perfect, and they would find a way to get the ink off it and then replace it with 100. You know what I mean? They get the plates or whatever, and they make it look like $100 bill, and the paper was perfect. Later, those guys, I don't know where those guys all probably went to the federal pen, but they check $10 bills for counterfeit. And I saw that, and I said that it was in this supermarket called Stop and Shop. It's like a big nationwide chain. It's called Stop and Shop. And I'm in there, and they tested a $10 bill, and I'm like, I said, who would counterfeit $10 bills? And they looked at me, of course, like I'm a crazy person, right? They're like, because that's the procedure. That's what the clerk. I understand it's a grocery clerk. You know what I mean? They do what they're supposed to do. They're told to do. And I'm like, do you not understand? It costs more in chemicals and paper to counterfeit the $10 bill than the fucking $10 bill is worth. But when they are exerting control over things like $10 bills, this is a sign that things are really fucking bad, and you need to pay attention to this. You think, well, that's not really significant, but it is significant because people only used to counterfeit 100s and 50s and use them in big transactions. You know, now that the government thinks, whether there's evidence or there's no evidence for it, that people are willing to counterfeit tens, this shows that that things have gone off the fucking rails. They have gone off the rails. Here's fucking Paxson with his fucking boomer fucking carb recipes. You know, here's part of the problem being a boomer. If you weren't a boomer, if you were like a proper manly man, you'd be talking about fucking steaks and fucking smoking big pieces of meat. You know what I mean? Like high protein, manly fang stuff. And you're like, oh no, let's make sourdough bread. That's like some kind of homosexual fucking muffin from San Francisco. Nobody even eats that. No man with any testosterone in his veins eats sourdough. You will sell bread for BTC. Listen to me, Paxton, you vegetarian boomer. Bitcoin people, they need fucking meat, all right? You better go out and catch a fish, some mahi-mahi or something, and you're going to grill it, you know, take the skin and the scales off, you're going to grill it, put some sea salt on it, whatever, some olive oil, some cheese, present it on a bed of beet leaves on a nice flat plank, and then you'll make money. Then you'll make some Bitcoin. But selling wimpy carbohydrates, you will go out of business pronto. Okay. Notifications. Oh, you're talking about I think there's a conversation between Zoo and Tom Anderson about the crypto credit cards. Yeah, everybody's waiting for those. You know, they're trying to make them happen. They're going to happen. It will happen. I'm signed up for the Gemini one. How is the chat possibly getting ahead of me? Bob Paxton, I have a friend who used counterfeit $5 bills to buy drugs. What was that, 1972? And by the way, I don't believe it. That's anecdotal evidence. That is absolutely. Are all the semiconductors staying in China for mining? Probably going to move to Vietnam. I saw an interesting article that the ExxonMobil Corporation is building a power plant, a modular power plant in Vietnam. So they're going to build, it's like stage one can generate whatever X amount of electricity, but it's modular. You can add stage 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 onto that. And they're very excited because there's natural gas off the coast of Vietnam that they can use for this. And apparently China, getting all new factories, is selling all the old factories that they bought from America in the 70s and 80s, they're selling to Vietnam. So, which is both good and bad for China, because China gets newer factories, but Vietnam gets stronger. The Vietnamese don't really like the Chinese, and they've been the Vietnamese have been showing Bob's and Virginie to Washington D.C. for a couple of decades now, and they're having issues with the Chinese fishing in their waters and stuff. If they can get some new to them 1950s fucking U.S. Navy ships for their fucking Navy, they can start pushing back against the Chinese. And I mean, probably not this current administration, but maybe the next administration, or maybe even in this current administration. If we want to pressure China, we start selling expensive shit to Vietnam because they got all the factories to make Nikes and plastic shit. And they got the electric power to run them. And of course, ExxonMobil is profiting from this, at the center of this whole big thing. They need one power plant or 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 modules, 10, whatever. They'll get that. So we can hold, some pressure to China from their traditional enemy, Vietnam. So there's the game gets super complicated depending on who wants what and who's doing what to whom. But listen, Bob Paxton, if you were really a Chad, your friend would have just ripped off the drug dealer. Okay. So if you were a proper real Chad, just rip off the drug dealer. Stop being a homo. Beats it. Wait, hold on. Now, oh, look, I really got under Paxton. Paxton's like losing his shit. He's fucking getting, he's going nuts in the chat. I like sourdough. Ear Manrick, live on beets and cabbage. I want to talk about beets. A lot of people know that I eat a lot of honey, like I eat honey on a regular basis. And this started a couple of years back when I was doing barbell training, and I used to make what the millennials call overnight oats. You take dry oat flakes and you soak them in milk, and I would put in maple syrup and cinnamon, and I would eat that before I went to the gym. And soak it, right? So the dry oat flakes overnight in the fridge soak and they soften the oats, it becomes edible. And when I ran out of maple syrup, and maple syrup is fucking expensive. It's like $16 a quart. It's like a ridiculous, it's like $65 a gallon. It's retarded how expensive that shit is. I was in the supermarket and I'm like, I really like maple syrup, but fucking $65 a gallon is like spendy as fuck. So I said, let me grab honey. And when I was a kid growing up, my mother always had some honey in the house, and Greeks eat a ton of honey, but I didn't eat it as a kid. I was like, fuck it, I'll use honey instead of, what the hell? It's all sweet. And so that's what I did. I would put the oat flakes in a little Tupperware thing, and I put the fucking some salt and some cinnamon and then some honey and soak it in fucking milk and mix the whole thing up and throw it in the fridge. And then I wake up the next morning that I was going to the gym, and I'd have coffee and I would eat that, and I would go to the gym. And I noticed that I rested a shorter amount of time in between sets and that I felt better. And I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, I feel better today. But I didn't think nothing of it. And then I noticed every time that I ate honey in the fucking morning, I had a quicker recovery time between sets, and I felt stronger at the end of every set. I'm like, what the fuck? So I Googled like honey for weightlifting or something. I don't know what the fuck I Googled. But apparently, if you get honey that has the pollen in it, right? With bee pollen in it, there are amino acids that are the building blocks of nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is the chemical in your blood that gives you endurance, okay? And different foods have nitric oxide. Beets have a lot of nitric oxide, right? So, and I knew this, and I'm like, whatever, I don't really like beets that much. But I've seen these beet powder stuff, and all this stuff, of course, pops up on my Facebook feed and all this other shit. So I'm in the supermarket and I said, let me buy it. Fuck it. You know what? Maybe this beet thing is going to work out. Maybe it's better than fucking honey, whatever. It's stronger. Let me try that stuff to see if it's going to I'm just looking to keep my strength where it is longer. So I buy this fucking container of beet powder, and you mix it with water. I carry water in my car. So I mixed 1 scoop with fucking water and I drank it. Well, guess what? Beet powder lowers your fucking blood pressure. And I got low blood pressure to begin with. My blood pressure is never 120 over 70. It's always like 108 over 62. I'm never gonna be where that number says you're supposed to be. I'm never gonna happen. So, but I have naturally low blood pressure to begin with. That shit, I don't know what the fuck it dropped me to, but I'm driving along and I thought I was gonna fucking pass out while I was driving. And I'm like trying to tense myself up to try and pump fucking blood up into my head. You know, I'm like, holy shit, I'm gonna pass out while I'm driving. So I'm not a big fan of fucking beets or at all. Like you can keep the fucking beet powder, all that beet stuff, whatever. You know what I mean? Cabbages, you make stuffed cabbages like my mom used to make them. I will eat them all day long. I'm not anti-cabbage. I'm not anti-coleslaw. Bob Paxton, my wife is a beet junkie. As a boomer, you have to understand, I remember back to my heart attack days, during my heart attack days when I actually paid attention to this shit. As you get older, as people get older, like over 40, over 45, over 50, their blood pressure tends to get high. People tend to get high blood pressure as they get older. So these beet powders, and they sell them in supermarkets now. They work great. They will relax you. They will open up all your fucking vessels to the point where you will pass out and fall asleep. Just don't operate heavy machinery while you're doing this. I'm not saying it's bad for you, but for me specifically, right, who tends to have a low blood pressure to begin with, this chemical drops my pressure too low, and I spend way too much time driving a fucking car around. I really don't want to fucking hit, a guardrail at 75 miles an hour. I don't need that. You know what I mean? That would fuck up my day particularly badly. Stuffed cabbages, my mother used to make them. I used to go out of my mind. I couldn't sit at the fucking table. Zoo, nitric oxide is to get a boner, I thought. Yeah, it helps with that. Okay. Nitric oxide is a vasodilator. Your arteries relax and open up and more blood flows. In order to get a boner, for a man to get an erection, I have to fucking explain anatomy to people. I can't believe this. The penis is a membrane, like a sponge, right? A sponge that's dry is this big, and when you soak water on it, it gets this big. The penis is similar. So in order to maintain an erection, blood has to flow into that membrane 60 times faster than it flows out. And there are flesh valves that make this happen. Part of people who have erectile dysfunction is their blood doesn't flow into that membrane fast enough or keep enough pressure long enough to complete the sex act. So, and I used to post a link. I'll post a link next. But Zoo, if you want to see the best stuff, okay, on YouTube, go to the search box up here in YouTube and type in The Human Animal. The Human Animal by Desmond Morris. It's a 6-part series that was broadcast on the Discovery Channel back in the 90s. Episode 3 is Love and Sex, which has to do with the chemical and physical aspects of what we call love and sex. And it is so worth you watching. You have no idea. Each episode, 45 minutes. Totally watch it. Totally worth watching. Again, it's called The Human Animal by Desmond Morris. Poppers, Bob Paxton. Poppers, that's amyl nitrate. That's a homo thing. That is a homo thing. Bob Paxton apparently has seen the Desmond Morris stuff. Yeah, it was a great series. Absolutely excellent series. Bob Paxton, Uzo Fuel. Here's the thing about when the feds were in the channel, they're like, hey, James, what would you prefer, sobriety or height? I'm 5'10" and a half. Don't forget the half. I'm 5'10" and a half, so I'm taller than the average male in the United States. And what's his name? the half pint Nazi Ov fuck you was like man, how do you fucking do all this shit? Listen, I don't, like I said, I'm not apologizing for the fact that I'm a galaxy brain relative to you, right? Yeah, I read The Naked Ape too. It was a profound, very good book. I mentioned this in the last stream. You want to talk about galaxy brains? Aristotle is a galaxy brain. Aristotle made arguments 2,400 years ago that have not been beat. That is the galaxy brain of galaxy brains. Euclid, right, wrote 13 books on geometry. I couldn't read one book on geometry, much less write 13 of them. There are galaxy brains out there way beyond me. I am like not a fucking like dust underneath their fucking sandals. You know what I mean? Not worthy to polish their togas or whatever the fuck. That somebody like OV, who's, again, I went over what his life is or was and what it is now. I don't, at this point in my life, I don't apologize for who I am and how shit works. I don't apologize for my fucking ability to think and speak and do I'm not apologizing for using big words like when I was a kid. Fuck you. You can't follow me? Drop fucking dead. You fucking retard. You know what I mean? Here, go to the store and buy this. Go have some of this every fucking day. Wake up in the morning and drink this. You don't like my fucking show? Get the fuck out of here. I do what I fucking do. People, these fucking feds are like, oh, you drink all the time. I drink one fucking day a week. 1 day a week from my fucking 6-day work week, right? These fucking Fed cops, wherever the fuck they sit, or the Israeli Unit 8200 of the fucking Israeli army or whatever Hezbollah crew comes in and fucks with these fucking streams every now and then. They couldn't do what I do on their best fucking day. Like literally on their best fucking day. They couldn't do what I fucking do. And they can't imagine that I could do it. I look at people, different like physical athletes or whatever, and I'm amazed by them. I'm not jealous of that. I'm just amazed. I think, that's incredible. It's a pleasure just to watch that. You know what I mean? To watch, I don't know, you like to watch a Nadia Comaneci or some fucking Olympic gold medalist, and you're like, whoa, you know what I mean? I don't think it's unfair that they can do that and I can't do that. I'm just amazed that they have that ability. They had whatever gifts they have, they developed them to the max, and they achieved what they achieved. I'm not hateful and jealous. I'm glad that I got to see it. But these fucking shitty civil servants, and again, the Hezbollah guys, the ADL people, the SPLC people, these fucking leftists, they're all just hateful. It isn't just that they don't have what you have. They want to destroy what you have that even exists. Like, okay, I can do the raconteur thing for hours, whether it's fueled by Uzo or not. When I fucking smashed Duvid and all those other fucking people, when I used to go on Babylonian Hebrews channel and I used to beat the fuck out of whoever would show up, I was working. I was not drunk. I've done hundreds and hundreds of hours, cold stone fucking sober, working my job and still smashing these fucking people like the fucking semi-retarded fucking jerkos that they are. You know what I mean? And these guys are like, thinking like, oh yeah, you drink too much. Fuck you. I work 6 days a week. I'm fucking sitting here. I'm not behind the wheel of a car. I'm not handling any fucking firearms. I can do whatever the fuck I want to do, and I'm gonna do. So, yeah, listen, these guys, what's amazing, this is what astounds me. Like, I think, for Christ's sake, my previous channel had a whopping, 225 subs or something. This channel has 29 subs, and they're willing to come here, and fuck shit up. That's why I wrench people up like crazy. And everybody that has a wrench, and I'm not sure if everybody has a wrench. Doesn't have a wrench. Paxton, you got a wrench? I don't even know if he does or he doesn't. No, I have to. Why can't I do that from here? Put user in timeout, block user. I don't want to do that. The reason why I want like what did I call it? A chat that's wrenched up to the gills is because I want. If I'm going to do like I'm going to be ranting, whatever, I'm going to be drinking, blah 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 blah. I got my little props. I'm doing my fucking jokes or whatever, and I kind of got a flow going, and I think this is going good. People are being entertained, and hopefully maybe even learn something. If what these jerks come into the fucking chat, you gotta whack them. You gotta smack them in the fucking head. Like I don't have time to look in the chat and go, oh shit, who's that? I don't recognize that name. Like I don't have time to do that. Like one of these guys called Karen Assad a Fed, like, and she starts responding to that. She's like, yeah, sure. And I'm like, listen, this is their standard tactic. Boom, I whacked the guy like immediately, just knocked him the fuck out. The HIV transgender, one of my options are only put user in timeout and block user. I have to do that outside of this. But I'll look to the chat tomorrow and I'll give you a wrench. I'll wrench you up. But I don't know how to do that literally from here. Although I should be able to do that. I don't know why. Right. Can I open? What if I click that? What if I open? I never know. View on YouTube. Here's the problem. If I view this on YouTube while I'm doing it, it may create a hole in the internet. It may fuck shit up. And PAX is not wrenched up. All right, so let me go here. PAX and give me a show. Shofar is that's like a big horn. It's like a tuba or a fucking. It's not a weapon. A shofar is like a signaling thing. I'm waiting for YouTube to load on an alternate tab on this laptop, which is actually running Windows 95. I gotta shut stream hard because we're gonna get like an echo and feedback and all kinds of shit. I see a black box with a swirly, spinny thing in the center, and I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the world's slowest internet, the world's slowest CPU. It's 12:30 on a Sunday night. Who could possibly be on the internet? Normal person is sleeping. It doesn't want to load it. Load it for me, will you? It wouldn't load Gmail for me. It's going to load fucking connecting. Connect already. Doesn't want to do that. I don't have the bandwidth. Wait a minute. What if hold on. What if I stop cam here, right? I'm trying to think of like save bandwidth. I'm trying to think of all these stupid tricks for a guy who's running this off his cell phone. By the way, I bought like 1.34 pounds of pork shoulder, and before I came, the Asian store was open. They sell pork shoulder, so I'm going to use that to make souvlaki. And I put it in some thyme, sea salt, black pepper, and bro. Guess what I'm having for dinner, bro? This is not working. This is not working. Tomorrow, doing a chicken. I bet you could. So you could be a chicken swinger, oxhorn, kosher. Oh man, yeah. Here's the thing. That's the thing about the microstream universe that I guess I found myself in, and it's I think something that Jonathan Paul likes as well. Is that the chats are cozy? You know what I mean? Where everybody everybody. You recognize other people, and it's very chill. It's very cozy. You can hang out. There's inside jokes, and everyone can hang out and have a good time. And really, to be honest, that's what I want this channel to be. It's like the secret internet club where we get to say stuff we're not allowed to say. Oftentimes not allowed to say in public. IRL, and to reinforce. Listen, we all live in this crazy, we all live in a media environment, and it's lies, and it's distortion, it's not true. And you're like, sometimes to hold the thought in your head is difficult, you know what I mean? And to hear something similar, maybe not the exact same thing, but something similar to what you think or believe can really bolster you, can pick you up. You know what I mean? When things get a little shaky, and you go, you know what? I'm not the only one who thinks that. You know what? I'm not the only one who sees that. Now, maybe you see things very close to the way I see things. Maybe you're just like in the neighborhood of where I see things. But knowing that there are people, at least in the range of your perception and your belief, there are other people like that. You can see them, you can hear them on a regular basis, can do quite a bit, to help people. Because listen, it's very tough. There's a lot of dark shit going on. There's a lot of really, really dark shit going on. So, and it's fun to me to see the variety of kooks that routinely show up around these circles and want to hear this sort of stuff. Bob Paxson, CYA, disavow. I would disavow everyone. I told my nieces, I think I said on another stream, like, disavow me. Like, if anyone ever asks you, like, is that, you blood related to that guy? Fucking disavow me 100%. I don't, we never see him. He's crazy, blah, 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 blah. Like 100% disavow. You know what I mean? You're not going to win anything. There's no honor points here. This is not the time or place for that, So you need to, like, if it ever gets to the point, like in England, where you tweet something and the police come to your door, or, somebody says, oh, you watched the fucking live stream of this extremist, and they're like, there's only 47, or right now it's 29. So let's say there's 47 subscribers. You're a cell of 50 extremists who consume this content. I fully expect you to disavow. You know what I mean? You go, no. I'm just documenting it for the SPLC. I was going to report it to the FBI right before you rang the doorbell. I would 100% expect you to do that, because there's no upside in going, fuck you. You know what I mean? Fuck you, you fed cocksucker. What are you going to do about it? There's no upside in that. We're in a time where most people have to hide behind a Pepe of the Frog avatar, or some, whatever, some weirdo historical person or cartoon thing. We're not in a place where we can speak freely, and the Biden administration is 100% anti-white. They're going to make anti-white terrorists. They're going to find white terrorist extremists everywhere. They're going to make them one way or another, by hook or by fucking crook, by hook or by fucking crook. And they're going to make that happen. Yeah, thumbs down on the video. Absolutely. Dude, I don't take that shit personally. Like I said in the last stream, like right now, up here for me, on the screen for me, up here, it's like, it has how long I've been going and how many viewers I have. Well, how long I've been going is accurate, but how many viewers I have, I don't know. Is it 6? Is it 16? I don't fucking know. And at the end of the day, I don't care. I'm not sitting here going, oh, my metrics are. I'm not fucking doing it. I'm just not doing it. For the people who like this content, come and enjoy, stay for as long as you like, fuck around, have fun in the chat, say hi to everybody, bust my balls. That's, there's no worries about that. This is the secret internet club. But if it ever gets real, if your employer or anything says, listen, you have to say, I've been concerned about online extremism. I've seen this. I watched the 60-minute segment, and, I was horrified. And I was about to report him to the ADL, like I had the email typed up already. I just didn't hit send, and then the FBI rang my doorbell. I would 100% do that. No, listen, Paxson, no pay. I don't need Patreon. I got Bitcoin. I'm going to be running around like, who's that guy? John McAfee. like the international criminal drug addict John McAfee. I'm going to be hiding in a hole in Guatemala with my fucking cold storage device, waiting for the chopper to get me out of the jungle. Anyway, all right. So everybody is a crazy uncle. Yeah, sure, And Bob Paxton, I make crazy uncle jokes all the time in gun forums. Because I have the Walther pistols, and there's a Walther pistol that has a paddle release for the magazine, not a button. And I'm like, yeah, you paddle guys are the crazy uncles of the Walther group. And everybody's like, I get like 10 people like, all those smiley emojis, and everyone laughs and shit and talk shit. You got to be lighthearted and fun in everything, wherever you do, but don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt those. There are people that depend on you. This is all ironical, right? We're all joking. It's all like a performance art or whatever. Don't hurt yourself. I don't think it'll ever get that bad here. I really don't think it will. But you never know. We're entering a time where they're literally saying we're going to go to the countries to find those that were deported and re-import the deportees, because it's immoral that they were deported, not illegal, not that they weren't given due process. No, it's immoral. The people who smash what is not true, these individual gods who don't respect the nation state, what do they call it? Who's that guy wrote fucking books? It's all about crazy nonsense. I can't remember. It's if you read Euro shit, if you're like a sophisticated Euro type guy, I had to think with all the phones ringing at once. What the fuck is the guy's name? There's a type of I'm losing it. I can't remember what this guy is. But it's all about the madness of living underneath the international cosmopolitan elite. No, not Mel. Yeah, Herman. Yeah, Melville. Don't get me started on that fucking guy. You're just doing this just to fucking trigger me now. At this point, Paxton, just want to trigger me against this fucking Melchizedek or whatever the fuck he's calling himself. He's not even competition for me. You know what I mean? I'm like Mike Tyson, if Mike Tyson was a white guy with glasses, and Melchizedek is like an 8-year-old blind girl on crutches. You know what I mean? This is not a fair fucking fight. And Melchizedek really is an 8-year-old blind girl on crutches. And he fucking knows it. This clips of me on fucking, what's his name, on the Bad Gourd Productions, whatever, me blowing him the fuck out. Him and the Chinese guy. What was his name? Monsieur. He had different skills. He will lead you into the world of fantasy, and I will bring you to the world of fucking reality. You know what I mean? Different skills. I have actual fucking skills. My father didn't set me up with a cushy fucking professor job, where I could. Don't get me started. Listen, this guy. You want to call him a fucking man? You want to listen? You want to be a man or an intellectual? Whatever, fine. You want to love books? That's fine. But he owns no guns. He has a wife and small children, and he owns no fucking guns. If you are not willing to fucking protect those who love you and depend on you, if you are not willing to fucking stand up for them. Now, what are the chances that Dindo's are going to kick in his door and do horrible things? I don't know. Maybe 0, maybe higher than 0. But it's your job as a fucking man to be a fucking man. And if it is that you will not practice the skill set, you will not learn the skill set to protect those you say you love. Well, I don't know. What kind of man are you? You know what I mean? Really, what kind of man are you? Really, I don't know. Maybe he has 20 fucking Rottweilers outside the fucking house. Maybe, who the fuck knows? I don't know. But he's like, well, hey, I don't own guns. You guys could, like, do you have a wife and small children? Like, and again, I understand this happening is probably like lightning striking, like 1 in a million, 5 or 10 million, but the chance is not zero. And if you're going to be a reality-based person, you have to understand that bad things happen. And bad things don't happen because you're a bad person. It's not a morality thing. I'm a moral person, so good things happen. I'm an immoral person, so bad things happen. That's not the way it is. It's predator versus prey. There is no morality enters into this. If there's weakness, someone will sniff it out and attempt to fucking exploit that weakness. And women and children are by definition weak. And it's your job as a fucking man to maximize your fucking strength to protect them. That's my worldview. That's my worldview. So, and by the way, there's no fucking literature unless guys with my worldview flourish. There's no literature. There's no stories about whale chasing or whatever the fuck. Right? The Orwell quote that you sleep safe in your beds because rough men, armed men who are armed and fucking rough are willing to do violence on your behalf. That's why you sleep soundly in your bed. Not because Herman Melville wrote a book this big about a fucking fish. So I'm not saying don't love Melville and don't love literature. That's fine. That's wonderful. You know what I mean? That is to be civilized. But understand how civilization is created and maintained, and do your fucking part. And do your part. Anyway, yeah, the pen is mightier than the sword. Right up until I chop your fucking head off with a fucking sword. Let's get into it. You know what, Bob Paxton? I'll meet you anywhere you want. You take a fucking big ballpoint, I'll get a fucking whatever sword you fucking want. I'll grab a machete from fucking Walmart. You know what I mean? We'll see who fucking wins. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to be driving your boat out to the middle of Atlantic City Bay and tossing your body over, tossing the parts of you over, chained to fucking cinder blocks, and then trying to sink that boat and swim to shore before the FBI catches me. All right, listen, dudes, it's 2 hours and 11 minutes. It's 2 hours and 11 minutes. The internet stopped working. I can't show all my cool fucking memes. Once again, I'm frustrated because no one wants to send me free fucking money. But anyway, dudes, dudettes, everyone who showed up, thank you for showing up. Remember, buy Bitcoin, hold Bitcoin, do not sell. Do not sell your Bitcoin for a bag of shitty fucking US dollars, fiat, which is only going down. Buy Bitcoin. Value your time and money. Value your children's and your grandchildren's time and money. Okay? Look forward to a brighter future where we are not controlled by those who hate us and wish us dead. Wish us dead. Anyway, all right. I'm going to cut the video. I'm going to play the Greek disco music. You guys are going to chill, and I will talk to you again in the future. Later, bro. Bros and sisses.